Hi, everybody, and welcome to this month's presentation of what is the Amicable Divorce Network. Of course, as we are relatively new, started in 2019, we get this question a lot. And so I try to do this presentation periodically to answer everybody's questions, to get a better understanding of what the network is, what it is that we do, so that professionals can understand if this is something that they want to be a part of, and the public can see if this is the type of divorce that they want to get, and use one of our professionals if they happen to be facing that in their lives. So at this point, I'm going to start the informational presentation, so to speak. And so this is divorce for reasonable people is what we call it. That's sort of our tagline for the Amicable Divorce Network. So you'll see that on a lot of the things that we use, because we have found even people who maybe have some challenges, some personality disorders and things of that nature always want to appear to be reasonable. And we found time and time again that people are looking for reasonable divorce solutions. So a lot of people on this call and otherwise don't know who I am. So I always like to introduce myself to those of you who don't know me. My name is Tracy Ann Moore-Grant, and I am an attorney in Forsyth County, Georgia, which is located above Atlanta. We are a suburb of Atlanta. I've been practicing for 20 years. My focus is solely family law. I still am a full-time practicing attorney, mediator, arbitrator, guardian ad litem, and parent coordinator. And I founded the Amicable Divorce Network in 2019. My practice now, as far as being an attorney, is focused solely on uncontested and amicable divorce cases. I've been able to transition my practice to that 100% in addition to mediation and the other items that I noted. My law firm is Patterson Moore Butler, and we are located in Forsyth County, Georgia, and also opening a second location in Dawsonville, Georgia, which is further north from that. My law firm also runs a continuing legal education company called OTPCLE. If you're from Atlanta, you understand that's outside the perimeter, continuing legal education, which is kind of a legal jargon, meaning that we are outside of the city. And in 2020, I received a Georgia Legal Award for Distinguished Leadership for founding the Amicable Divorce Network. I note that just because it's very rare for a family law attorney to get that at all, and was glad to have the network recognized for its positive impact on the family law system in Georgia. So what is the Amicable Divorce Network? So I started this network in 2019 really out of frustration, as I have heard from many divorce industry professionals that they just didn't want to deal with the drama anymore. And I took a step back to determine sort of where the source of the issues were in cases. I fully understood that clients would be going through a troubling time. They would be very upset. They are always upset going through a divorce. And that was not the issue. I actually got into family law because I wanted to help people. The issue that I was finding was that my trouble was with opposing counsels who were driving up conflict and cost in cases, who were not being resolution focused with clients. And how could I control that problem? How could I control who I worked with? And so this issue came up, and it was, I talked to some members in my legal community that I enjoyed working with. We no longer had collaborative law in Georgia, and we're trying to come up with a concept where we could sort of get cases and work together, and Amicable Divorce was born from that, and it took off very quickly after that. The network itself is an organization for all divorce industry professionals, which would, of course, include attorneys, mental health professionals, mediators, arbitrators, financial professionals, real estate professionals, coaches, and so much more. We're also welcoming wellness professionals. We really believe in parties being able to have a very healthy divorce and post-divorce transition. And having done this network, I've come across so many people who do different things with parties going through divorce to help them before, during, and after. And all of those professionals are welcome. And we have created new categories for different industries and different things that we have seen. The Amicable Divorce Network identifies for the public low conflict professionals. To be a member of the network, we do ask that you have 5 years of licensure in your area that you're asking for membership in. An example is if you've been a family law attorney for 10 years, but only a mediator for 1 year, you would be allowed in the attorney category, but would have to wait in the mediator category. We do have membership exceptions. And so you can apply to the membership board for an exception if you feel that for some reason you shouldn't have the 5 years of experience, or you're trying to grow a particular area, or we need people in that particular area. For example, we have a need for parent coordinators. And so sometimes we make membership exceptions for people who have that skill. People should be resolution minded and not conflict driven. And so when we vet members to our membership, new applicants, we do send out an email to all of our current members. Do you know this person? Do you have experience with them? And our membership board looks into them, their online presence and reputation. They should be vetted for being resolution focused. Having transparent billing practices is very important to us. We do ask our members to, everybody gets an online profile, to put your fees on the profile if possible, so that when potential clients are looking for this information, they can find it very easily online to make financial choices. We do not dictate for members what they should charge. That's for them. A lot of our members do charge less, whether it's a lower hourly rate, a lower retainer, things of that nature, but that is not required. That's entirely up to the professional how they bill, but we do want them to be transparent about it. And we do require our attorney members to take the training on the amicable divorce process. So it's important to understand that we have a network of professionals. And so one of the benefits of being in the network is that you are promoted to the public as being resolution focused, which is an area of law, an area of divorce that we see people really looking for professionals in. The trends are towards people wanting low conflict solutions and seeking those out, particularly millennials and gray divorces. So first, you are promoted as having that experience, having that reputation for the parties who are looking for that. So hopefully you will find clients that want that mindset in your community. And then the second is that it is an actual out-of-court process. So if you have a match, so to speak, if you have two parties who have hired Amicable Divorce Network attorneys, you can engage in the amicable divorce process. It's a very organized step-by-step process I'll talk about in just a second to get parties divorced. We've been very popular with the LGBTQ+ community, and as well as some other areas that I want to touch on, and that is families with special needs children, parties who are facing mental health issues and also addiction issues. And there's a couple of reasons for that. One is, I think any group that feels like it's going to be not represented fairly in the court system is attracted to our out-of-court process, where you can choose your professionals who are involved and aren't submitting your case to a judge. We also have a very flexible timeline. And so, for example, a family who has a special needs child might need to take things slowly, may need to enlist other professionals. And we can craft their divorce for them and take care with their family. We also have parties who want to move very fast, so they have that option as well. We try to be very meaningful with diversity and representing in our group the community that our group represents, and that's also one of the ideals of our membership. So the process, as I was saying, is an out-of-court process, and it's designed for the parties. It can be accelerated or it can be slowed down. And if the parties hit a roadblock and they need to resolve a dispute, we use ADR techniques to do that: mediation, parent coordination, and if needed, binding arbitration, so that the parties can get their issues resolved outside of the court system. So this is a little infographic about the amicable divorce process itself. And I won't go into this in incredible detail because it can get pretty laborious, even though it is quite streamlined. But once parties agree to engage in an amicable divorce, if there are two attorneys who are doing that process, and I have tons of these cases right now, I get to work with a lot of great colleagues. What we do is the two attorneys meet, have what's called a planning meeting. Of course, we do this on the phone or online. And we determine, do these parties want to move fast in their case? Are they wanting to slow down? Do they need to exchange any documents? Do they have financial transparency? Do they need to enlist a financial professional? I have a couple cases right now that involve business valuations. Do we need any mental health professionals to assist the parties, the children? Do we need a parent coordinator? You know, we often have to send people to get their home appraised, to get insurance quotes, to get information on whether they will, you know, qualify for that equity buyout on the house. And so we structure sort of what their needs are, who their team needs to be to get through this divorce, if anybody. And we actually write all of that down so that the parties have deadlines that are on the calendar that they know that they have to meet. We do exchange documents. That's done under oath, so that the parties do have some assurances that what the other party is saying is true and correct, and there would be the penalty of perjury if that wasn't correct. They do financial disclosures if needed. And again, I want to express that this is catered to the parties. I have parties who, you know, have a very simple divorce and they just want it done professionally. They want some help to negotiate child support, alimony. They might want to take a lot of care with their parenting plan. So we're not using people who aren't needed, but within our network, we do have the professionals at our fingertips who are needed. And usually they're the cream of the crop in their industry for this type of work. Due to the level of experience that we require, parties and the professionals in our network are usually very experienced in helping people. And also one of the reasons that we have that level of experience is because once you've been doing family law for a while, particularly as an attorney or a mediator, when you're dealing with parties with high stress, all the emotions are still the same. Whether parties are choosing to divorce by using the court system, which is very destructive, or by choosing an amicable path, you still have parties with all of those same emotions. And we think that only professionals, usually that have that level of experience and have sort of been in the trenches, have the ability to manage those emotions and manage expectations and keep parties on track to keep them amicable. We also do additional training for our professionals on those types of skills. In the process, once we have all of our information that we need gathered, then we negotiate. Generally speaking, a mediation is set up. In the amicable divorce process, we do like to have more than one mediation session if there's children involved. We like to separate children from the money. So we usually like to have two shorter mediation sessions as opposed to sometimes we have very long mediation sessions. I know that's how it is in Georgia. And I've heard so much from other states about how they do it differently, but we have these very long mediation sessions here, which get very stressful. We don't want that for the parties. So we do separate that out. People like that, a lot less stress. They can focus on the money or focus on the children for that day. We can reach resolutions and move forward. If the parties just have this hiccup, for example, they just can't agree on that child support number, we set the case down for a binding arbitration, and so that that issue is resolved quickly and efficiently, still without accessing the court system. The only time that we access the court system is at the end, when all of the documents are filed on the same day to indicate it's an uncontested divorce, unless that's not appropriate for that jurisdiction. I know in some states something has to be filed so long prior to it being able to be granted. So of course there's exceptions to that rule as maybe jurisdictionally appropriate. But generally speaking, we file it however is appropriate in that jurisdiction to indicate that it is completely uncontested. We don't need a court hearing, we just need that final judgment decree. And then we help the parties transition into their post-divorce life as healthy, as financially stable as possible. A brief comparison with the timeline in Georgia for a divorce, and I know it's different in every state, but whereas ours is catered towards the parties, can be fast or can be accelerated. In Georgia, the typical divorce, my understanding, I heard this from somebody the other day, was that it takes about 18 months. And, from the day that you file with the court, you're putting the parties in an adversarial position. Somebody's versus somebody. They're not on the same team from the start. Somebody has to answer. Somebody's served, generally by law enforcement. You have 6 months under statute to complete discovery. And of course, as we all know, the courts are very backlogged with hearings. And so the amicable divorce process can be done completely online. I often joke, I have many clients, I don't know how tall they are because I've only ever seen them on Zoom. And so people often meet with me on their lunch hour, so it's not disruptive to their work. We mediate on Zoom and try to be as low conflict between everybody involved as possible, but also to create as little disruption in the parties' lives as possible, because interrupting their work, interrupting their childcare and the things that they're doing is stressful. And so we try to minimize that impact on the family overall. And so you can see here with a general litigation posture, so to speak, and process, multiple court hearings. Some counties here in Georgia have mandatory status conferences, things of that nature that we just don't have. So we often get the question, how is amicable different from collaborative? And we have several members who come from a collaborative background. So I often explain it to people. For example, as an attorney, at the beginning of this presentation, I read off all the different things that I do in my practice. I'm an attorney, I'm a mediator, I'm parent coordinator, and all of these different things. And if somebody comes to me for a divorce, I do uncontested, I do amicable, I used to do contested. Amicable is another tool in your toolbox. So if you happen to be a collaborative professional, you probably already have the mindset that we are looking for, it being solution oriented, being low conflict, being focused on keeping things out of court. And so you are welcome to the Amicable Divorce Network. These are not competing sort of ideals. We have the same ideals. So we often have this little graphic that we use that all the collaborative professionals are within our amicable sphere, but not all of the amicable professionals have taken the collaborative training. So you probably may want, and if you are collaborative, this is another tool in your toolbox. Somebody contacts you and maybe this is a better fit for that client, that you can help them out and you can still capture that case with this tool. So some of the key differences with collaborative, and I admit I am not collaboratively trained, but this is what I've learned from others, is that we don't require all of the different professionals for that a collaborative divorce does. I know coaches are required, financial, mental health, and a whole team of people to help the family through the divorce. Our feedback was that that wasn't really accessible to a lot of families in the middle class who want a collaborative approach but can't afford it. And so we designed that divorce for the parties. So we may find a coach would be a great fit for you. We do need a mental health professional. Maybe we do need a financial professional, but we determine who should be on that team, or the parties guide us on what it is that they are interested in or what they need, but they're not mandatory professionals that the parties might not be able to afford. Also with collaborative, my understanding is if things happen and the case gets contested, the parties have no confidentiality, so to speak. I'm generalizing that. With the professionals in the case. And so all the professionals who were involved in the collaborative process now need to excuse themselves from that process because it's now proceeding to court. That is not the case with amicable. We do not compromise our confidentiality at all. So I'm representing my client in their case and I'm giving them legal advice while still being resolution focused, and there is no reason for me to divulge those conversations to anybody, and we haven't had any issues with that. We have very resolution focused professionals in the group who we work just the same. We're just keeping it out of court and keeping it low conflict. So if the case blows up, so to speak, and that's a term that we use in a family law case, and we've had this happen once, where somebody was like, we have to access the court system because this information was withheld from us. Nothing prevents the attorney or any of the other professionals involved in the case from just keeping that case and taking it into the court system if that's part of their practice. And they choose to do that. Nothing about our practice prevents that. So they can just do whatever they need to do for their client. We have a little termination form for the process that they sign, just to indicate that they are exiting the amicable divorce process, and they can move forward with whatever the attorney or the other professional needs to do to protect their client, and just move forward. So the client doesn't have to start over with anybody else. They are already familiar with their person and their team, and they can continue on. So it could be, as a collaborative professional, that some of the things that I've said, you thought, oh gosh, this would be a really great fit for, you know, some of these clients that I've seen over the years or may have in the future. This, again, is just another tool for you. It is not either or. You know, you don't have to say I'm amicable or collaborative. We hope that you're amicable and collaborative. That's great for us. You have more experience and more tools that you're bringing to the table for us. So ADN members get lots of benefits from joining. We have several programs that we do. This one that you're here at today is called Amicable Academy. We generally do this once or twice a month, which is where we have presentations that are open to the public. They're either geared towards professionals or they're geared towards the public, but they're open to anybody. So our members can present a topic at one of these, and they get promoted on our social media. It gets recorded, put on our YouTube channel and our blogs, and so you can highlight yourself as a professional, no cost at all. We just, you know, pick, sometimes we have a topic, we're looking for a speaker, we take ideas, and so we really want to highlight our professionals and put out great content. At the bottom of the screen, you'll see, and you've probably seen this logo a couple of times, Divorce Amicably. So probably Friday, fingers crossed, Amicable Divorce Network itself is going to split, and we will have the Amicable Divorce Network, which is where our professionals will log in for resources, professional content, to sign up for events, the same way that you would with any sort of professional organization. And Divorce Amicably will be launched, which is our public-facing concept to promote amicable divorce principles to the public, to educate them about what amicable divorce is and why they should choose it, as well as to educate them in all areas relating to low conflict divorce solutions like co-parenting, financial security, what you need to know about your mortgage, all things that relate to helping people get through divorce better. So we will have Amicable Divorce Network for professional level content, and we will have Divorce Amicably for the public and for content that suits their needs. As members, our members are profiled on both. So at Amicable Divorce Network, you can log in and do your profile. Any changes will populate both websites. So wherever somebody lands to look for these resources, members will be there. Another content that we have is what's called an ad talk, an amicable divorce discussion. This is a 10-minute talk. It's usually between me and somebody else on Zoom. Our other board members host these as well from time to time. And it's just a talk, just a short discussion about any topic that has to do with the divorce industry, helping people get through divorce. We have a variety of them. Our most popular is probably about discernment counseling, where I was talking to a mental health professional about discernment counseling, which is a very organized counseling sessions that help people determine, do they want to get divorced or do they want to repair their marriage, and what that's going to look like. So we really try to come up with interesting topics. Again, our members can do this at absolutely no cost. They just schedule with me or another board member, put on YouTube, put on our blog, whether it's professional or public facing would determine, you know, where it is, could be on both. Again, we just encourage our members to do that. Amicable Hour is our members only events. So we do in-person events. We do online events. We have happy hours, we have coffee talks, we have lunch and learns. We have all kinds of things. And usually if this is members only, a little bit of a networking aspect to it, but also a professional level of education that may not be appropriate for the public. Maybe we're talking about complex stock options, or, you know, it's just some very high level content. Then we do that in an amicable hour. We have opportunities right now as we're growing our network. We started in Georgia in 2019 and launched the beginning of this year to have membership all over the United States and Canada, where somebody can volunteer to be what's called an amicable ambassador, which is where you are in charge of a geographical area that you tell us is good for you. In major cities, you know, that could be the city, it could be a county, it could be a region, depending on where you're at. And we help you build your network by identifying other professionals in your area who we think are a good fit for the network, getting that feedback from you, sending out mailings, setting up online or in-person events, however is appropriate, and helping you strategically build a network in that area for amicable professionals. At the end of this year in October, October 20th through 22nd, we are offering our first designation training, which is for members of the network to become a certified amicable divorce professional, CADP, and that's going to be in Sandestin, Florida. And the way that that program works is that you will take a 2-day core class training, which is about amicable divorce principles, how to keep things low conflict, how to engage in fair billing practices, how to manage clients who are very emotional. Once you take that 2-day core training, you will be a certified amicable divorce professional and have that designation. The 3rd day of classes is specialties. And so you will be able to select this year one of 3 specialty designations. And this year we're doing LGBTQ+ families and clients, special needs children, and financial expert training. So you'll break out into one of those 3 sections, and then you'll also get a designation. These types of designations, some of these that you see here, Amicable Ambassador, CADP, are we're doing an upgrade on the website so that on people's profiles, it'll show these different badges that they have earned. And so also those 3 designations will be reoffered next year on Zoom in the spring for people who have already taken the core training. And then next year we'll have the core training for 2 days, but we'll offer 5 designations. So repeat people can come back. They've already taken the core training. They can take the other designations. The 3 that we've identified for next year, and we have room for 2 more, are religion and culture, and addiction issues, and blended families. And so we have 2 more that we're working on for next year in 2023. And just pointing out, not sure how everybody found us today, but we do a lot on social media. We're on Facebook as Divorce Amicably, a group, the Divorce Amicably community, the Amicable Divorce Network public page, and our members have a private group where we post things and ask questions. We have an Instagram, which is Amicable Divorce Network, and separately Divorce Amicably. We're on Twitter. I admittedly do not tweet that much. It's not my thing. We have a YouTube channel, and we also have a private LinkedIn group for members. And this again is our training for this coming year, October 20 through 22nd. We do have registration opening soon. We should be getting that up on our website once the 2 concepts split. We have limited seating and limited registration and hotel room blocks for that. We can, this year, are limited to about 50 attendees. And we have sponsorship available for people who want to sponsor us, whether they can attend or not. We have all sorts of different opportunities there that will be announced. We still have a couple of speaker opportunities available as well, but those are going fast. Our team has done a great job of getting this together. We also have some key partnerships with organizations that are in the family law space. Our Family Wizard is a partner with us on our concept of Amicable Divorce Network. They have been kind enough to list us under their resources and create a category for amicable divorce. because we feel that we are a different category than uncontested, than DIY or collaborative. You have amicable, where parties want to figure things out and keep things low conflict, but they need professional help to do it. And so we feel that that is where amicable divorce lives. And so they are working with us, especially once Divorce Amicably is launched. And we're working to incorporate our Family Wizard into our process of an amicable divorce at a reduced rate, because we feel that when parties communicate well, which their app provides, and are organized, which their app also provides, that helps parties reduce conflict. I know we use that often as a solution in high conflict cases, but a lot of parties who are really attracted to our process love the calendar, love the organization of it, and the least amount that parties have to exchange this information back and forth, least amount of arguments, low conflict, and so we're all about that. We also have a partnership with Detour Life. If you're not familiar with Detour Life, I know Story's on this call and she can talk about it, but it is an excellent program, very impressed, where you can log in and collaborate with your client to come up with asset and debt sheets and summaries. They can build a parenting plan. You can actually sync your bank records for your client. They do that into the program itself. So you're not saying, hey, you know, print off or send me a screenshot of your 401k, and also exchanging this information in a rather unsecure manner. So they offer us a discount for amicable cases to collaborate on their product. It's a very secure website. I've been using it and my clients have just loved it. It has been great. I can log in anywhere and ask them questions, and it syncs in real time and prints that asset and debt sheet, and works really well also in our cases. You can also then share that information with opposing counsel and a mediator. So when I'm about to have a mediator in an amicable case, I can just add them as somebody who can collaborate on the case, and they can see all the information. We're not emailing this stuff back and forth, printing things out. It's just log in and look at this program. Our members also have a joint membership opportunity with Divorcetown USA. That's a national organization that is for all divorce industry professionals. We often say that we are the amicable avenue of Divorcetown. Divorcetown is a purely networking website. They do a lot of promotion of their members and different things like that, whereas we are very specific for amicable divorce for a certain level of experience and our out-of-court process. But they offer joint membership discounts for our members. And one of the last is ADR Notable, but not one of the least. And they are a wonderful software for mediators to, you can upload language for your agreements. You can go step by step in your notes, you know, personal property, agree, you know, and it carries that language over. You almost have to see it to believe it. I'm sure I'm not describing it properly, but they give our members discounts as well for using their program. We have a ADN master account. So anybody that signs up that's a member can access our master materials, parenting plans, language, things of that nature. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. You can access our master account, pull that into your agreements and your work, especially as a mediator, arbitrator, parent coordinator, anybody who's using dispute resolution. Really neat program. How do you join us? You go online, amicableddivorcenetwork.com. At the top, it says for professionals, and right under that is an application. We do know it asks you if you have minimum billing requirements twice, and that is a hiccup in the system we've been unable to correct. I get an email about it every time somebody applies. We know that. We are trying to fix it. So you go on, you apply, we vet you, and we go from there. Some of you on this call have received invitations to join. So you're welcome to skip that. You just have to email me that you're accepting that invitation, and then we send you a registration link where you can move forward with registration. One thing that our group does is we limit membership by geography and category. So we allow 10 members per category per 50,000 people in population in that area. Now that sounds like a huge mouthful. So for example, my home office is in Forsyth County, Georgia. By way of example, we can have 14 attorneys, 14 mediators, 14 mortgage professionals in my county. When we hit 14, no more are allowed, and that category goes on a wait list. So for example, if somebody wants to join at the gold level, that means that you can claim as many categories in as many counties in a particular state as you want. So perhaps you're a mortgage broker and your license is for the entire state. So you could go through and claim a spot in Forsyth County, Fulton County, Cherokee County, 10 different counties in Georgia if you wanted to. And so once then those categories are full, no other members are permitted. We are full in a few counties in Georgia: Cherokee County divorce attorney, Cobb County divorce attorney, Gwinnett County divorce attorney, and Forsyth County mediator are currently closed out on wait list. So that's sort of why, and then definitely why, we have the 4 different membership levels. So for example, a real estate agent might only be interested in selling houses in one county. They just want to be a real estate agent. You might have an attorney who's interested in practicing in 3 counties, but also being a mediator, somebody who is statewide, and then somebody who's international. We have 4 different levels that you can choose from for what is appropriate for you. And for being on the presentation today, you get a coupon code, and that is spring into ADN, all one word together, spring into ADN, and that's for $25 off. We also are going to be offering, if it's your first year of membership and you're coming to our certified amicable divorce training and you are signing up for both, you would get a $50 off your annual membership for doing that, if that's something that you're interested in. And that will be part of the registration as well. But we're also offering and looking for amicable ambassadors. So I know a lot of people don't want anything else on their plate, and that's perfectly fine. They want to join, they want to be identified in their community as experienced and amicable for the parties who are looking for that. And then we have some people who want to do that, plus jump in and help us build in their area. And if that's a position that you want, let us know, and we can help you meet those goals and build a network around you. So that is the end of the nitty gritty cost. How much will the braining cost? I'll have to get that question again. So if you guys have any questions, you're welcome to 100% stay on the call and ask those questions. I'm just going to stop the recording, but if you want to turn off your mics or turn them on and turn your video on and ask some questions. Other people probably have the same questions as you. If you're watching us online, thank you very much for tuning in. If you have any questions, you're always welcome to email me directly at Tracy, and that's TRACY, at amicableddivorcenetwork.com.